Hey, what's going on? This is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro studios. As usual, we're back here. It's another Tuesday, 4 p.m. We're here as promised, as usual. So let's go ahead and just let me know if you can hear me clearly, if you're listening to me. Let me just check here by myself. All right. Looks like we're good. All right, so let's dive into what we have today. My name is Ola. Like I said earlier, I am the author of Smart Real Estate Wholesaling, which you can see the link on the screen. You can go ahead and download a free copy right now. It will only be available to be sent to you starting next week, in which case you will have to pay for the shipping, but I will still have it available for free. But if you just want digital copy for now, just go to smartrealestatewholesaling.com. I'm also the creator of 11 Days Challenge. Right now, we have the 11 Days Challenge to flipping houses nationwide. And we also have our 11 Days Challenge for Facebook marketing. And so if you're looking to do any one of those two with respect to real estate investing, you're in the right place. So we're here. We'll talk about wholesaling as a flagship strategy for investing, because anyone can get started wholesaling with little to nothing, basically. So it's a lot of fun doing it. It's basically marketing skill sets. Okay, primarily is marketing skill set. All right. So let's get into it. Today, I've got a few questions that I wanted to answer. And by the way, you can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me right here, obviously, on YouTube. We couldn't go live on YouTube today. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. And Instagram, iTalksB. That's where you can follow me. But let's dive into today's questions and let's go ahead and do that. Now, the angle with wholesaling is always going to change. All right. But I'm going to talk about that. Let's just dive into the question. So, the first question today says, how do you become a real estate wholesaler? All right. So, I should probably guess, like I wrote the Bible. I wrote the Bible on real estate wholesaling. So it's called Real Estate Wholesaling, which, like I said earlier, you can download. Plus, I will give you this for free if you go there right now. So, but first of all, what is wholesaling? Wholesaling is the heart and science of finding deeply discounted properties, real estate properties, and then locking it under contract and flipping the contract. So the piece of paper that you lock in a specific price point that's going to basically create profit for an investor. And then you just find an investor who will pay for that property, but they also pay your fee for finding the deal. That's the key thing. Okay. That's the most important part about the whole game of wholesaling. So how do you become a real estate wholesaler? Really, honestly, it's as easy as starting to market, but market to who, right? So the idea is somebody is selling you a property at a deep discount, at a very steep discount. When I'm saying steep discount, we're looking at about 40, 50% on 100, right? 40, 50 cents on a dollar, right? Why would somebody in their right mind want to sell you a property at a discount like that? Why would they want to do that, right? Like nobody wants to give away their property, right? Well, the truth is that it's not all properties are created equal. Not all property ownership are created equal. Some property ownership are basically headache for the person that owns the property, and they're looking to get rid of the property. And when they do that, so think of it like a pawn shop, right? Like a pawn shop where you go and you say, you know what, I need money, I need cash, but I have this property, I have this jewelry, I have all the set of jewelry and properties that I don't really need right now, at least. Let me go upon this product or something just to get some cash, right? Real estate is kind of like the same thing. Okay, excuse me. Real estate is kind of like the same thing. Sometimes people own properties that they don't, that maybe needs repairs and things like that. So in that case, people sometimes will say, you know what, I need to get rid of a property. So the job as a real estate wholesaler, quote unquote, which again, like I always say, I don't like that terminology. Your job is to market to these potential sellers, right? These motivated sellers, hopefully, right? And then offer to buy the property. You want to offer a price that will work for them, but also work for you and your investor, right? So you don't need your own cash. The only thing you need resources for is to market. So sometimes to market will require money, will require time. More importantly, it requires skill set, right? And that's the marketing skill set that we teach heavy here. So there's this other that I always like to show. Let me just have it ready just so I can always reference it. This diagram right here, this is exactly the process of real estate wholesaling right here. Okay, it starts with data, right? So what kind of data? Remember I said distressed homeowners, right? Those are the people you'll be marketing to. So you need to pull those data. There's availability. The data is public. You can see who is owing money. You can see who is facing foreclosure. You can see who has a vacant property. You can see who actually owns a property they don't live in. That's not really a primary residence. So if a property is giving someone a headache and they don't, and it's not really their what do you call it, like their primary residence, that's even the additional more reason why they may need to get rid of it at very cheap, right? Because it's not really about money for them. It's not really about the property for them. It's about probably money or time. Maybe they run out of time, or somebody's about to foreclose on that property. All of that is public record. So knowing how to pull that data is really, really the first step. Okay, once you pull that data, then you convert that data into meaningful information, which is usually either you learn how to market directly to them on social media using today's technology such as Facebook and Instagram, which is, again, we have a new course on that right now. So if you go to 11dayschallenge.com, you will get access to that. But the point I'm making is that the first step, how do you become a real estate wholesaler, is understanding this process. It's marketing. Basically, you have to start marketing. Who do you market to? You market to distressed homeowners. Okay, you distressed sellers. Okay, distressed, maybe not sellers yet, but at least distressed homeowners, because you may just pick somebody's interest in wanting to sell, and them seeing that maybe that the only solution for them at that point in time is for them to sell the property. And you have to go through numbers. You have to go through a lot of people to find a deal, but it's always worth it. All right. But this is where the money is at. You close one deal, you can do 20,000, you can do 10, you can do $15,000, you can do my highest is $82,000 from one deal. So it's absolutely possible. But the first step, how do you become a real estate wholesaler? I would say it's probably to educate yourself, honestly, but you can attempt it. You can drive around for dollars and see if you can find deals. I don't recommend it, but there's some people, maybe you've listened to other people recommend that that's how you should start because you feel like you're broke. I say you're not as broke as you probably think. I think you should learn how to do the game, because the people that make the most money in the game are people that understand marketing. Okay. But really it's about breaking down the 5 steps in front of you. Okay. So let's move on to the next one here. The next one says, is real estate wholesaling worth it? So the process I just showed you, this 5 steps right here, I mean, is it, it looks excruciating, but not really. It's actually simple, right? It's just like anything you do in life. Like if you get hired into a job, right? They give you a job description, and majority of the job description out there is a lot more complicated than what I just showed you, than this, right? It's just they send you through training, and they said this is what you're going to be doing daily, and then you're going to make a few mistakes here and there, and then eventually the more mistakes you make, the better you become at the processes and learning how to successfully collect a check every Friday, right? So there's nothing really different here. It's the same thing. Okay, except that this one is actually a lot simpler and a lot more rewarding. Okay, so here's what I always tell people: real estate wholesaling is a type of real estate investing. It's literally you finding the best deals. Like you're basically the source of deals into the real estate market. Like you are very, very at the beginning of the source of deals into the real estate market, into real estate market, because you are direct to seller. Okay, except maybe 2 states, Oklahoma and Illinois, maybe Ohio. You have about 50 different states, right, that you can literally take advantage of this opportunity. And even in all those other states that I said, is basically comes down to partnering with people that have all those required licensing or required regulations. Just partner with people, right? But it's really a marketing skill set, learning how to find these deals. Okay, so is it worth it? It's absolutely worth it. I'll tell you right now, it's been, for me, it's been 15 years since 2005. Sorry. It's worth it because, again, when the paydays are beautiful, right? The paydays, especially if you learn how to merge it with digital marketing, especially if you learn the art and the science of digital marketing, learning how to use Facebook, Instagram, Google, SEO, and things like that. If you learn how to use those things to target people that are already in this position online, or people that are already going to reach out to you because they need this help, it's absolutely worth it. Not to even add on to the fact that you can use this skill set in other aspects of life. Okay, so it's very, very important that you understand that process. Okay, once you understand that process, then it's about start from step one. So is it worth it? Yes, it's always worth it. And another question I always ask people, like, sometimes it's worth it to just go collect a paycheck on Friday, right? Of course, it's worth it because you get to pay your bills, you have some stability, right? And even if you want to start a new gig, you want to start a new side hustle or something like that, you need money, you need peace of mind from bills being paid, so that you can literally so that you can focus on the right processes and be able to be at peace of mind when you're learning this new skill set. Okay, so what I can tell you, like, okay, my highest payday is $82,000 from one deal. $82,000 may not mean anything to you, right? Maybe my average is $25,000 per deal, right? Maybe that doesn't mean anything to you. Some people I've gotten as low as $0 for one deal before, but got paid like $5,000 a few months down the line because the deal was going to fall apart, right? So was that payday worth it for me? It was, because I got to help a person that was facing pre-foreclosure save their property from going into foreclosure, and it was a good feeling knowing that at least I helped them out, and an investor got a property. I wasn't going to get paid. I basically thought I would never get paid, but then I got a call a few months down the line to, like, what's your address? We're about to send you a $5,000 check. Is it worth it? Like, really, really, honestly, at the end of the day, really is up to you to determine that. But I'm guessing if you're here learning how to invest in real estate, you already know it's kind of worth it if you can figure out how to just get these deals coming to your table. But what I can tell you is that the work involved is work. Okay, for the most part, it's mental, especially if you plan on winning. It's not about how much physical work or labor that you can do. It's about learning marketing and learning how attention moves across the market, right? Because it's about attention. If you're going to do market, you need to learn how to capture the right attention in a cost-effective manner. Because if you're not very careful, you will waste a lot of money in the game on marketing in the wrong strategy, or driving around town wasting the wrong resources on the wrong strategies, and then you still won't close any deals. And that gets very expensive very quickly, especially if you don't have the proper value of your time, right? It can get very expensive. But the bottom line is that real estate wholesaling is a form of trade, right? You're trading off time in exchange for money, because you're saying, hey, I don't have $600,000 to invest in two properties with a chance that I could lose money without knowing what I'm doing. I'd rather just invest time and money, anything less than $5,000, in learning the skill set of finding deals. If I can find deals, then other people will pay me $5,000 over and over again for the rest of my life. Then it's worth it. Okay. Now, the other flip side of it is, like, you say, you know what? I'm not too sure. I don't trust the game. So let me see if somebody is offering some kind of free training on YouTube somewhere, and then you go pay for that, and then you don't do anything, because, again, when you don't pay attention. It's not just you, it's myself, it's everyone else, right? If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. Anything that you didn't have to put in some kind of worthwhile resources, chances are you're not going to take it serious. You're going to give all kind of excuses, time, life happening, and stuff like that, and why you won't take it serious. So it's a really, really broad question. For me, it's been worth it. That's why I'm still in the game 15 years later. But for you, is it worth it? That's a question that you get to ask yourself. So now it's not about the money. It's about what that money can do for you, if it can do anything extra for you? Will that allow you to have extra time with family? Maybe 3 months down the line, maybe 1 year from now, you can spend more time with your family. Is that worth something to you? If that's worth something to you, then absolutely. That's up to you again. If that money allows you to be able to spend some more time on some other kind of passion project that you have, then is it worth something to you? Then it's worth something to you. If you've heard this long enough and you've gone through all the gurus in the world and you're like, oh, I don't know if it works, then maybe it's not worth anything to you. It's a really, really broad question, and it's a wild question that is really personal. For me, it's been worth it. I am guessing there's a good chance it's worth it for you if you're here hanging out with me and learning how to do this. But I'm going to tell you right now, it feels a lot better when you learn how to use today's technology to do the business. Okay, so if you're still cold calling, there's a good chance that you're going to get frustrated out of the process, and suddenly it's not worth it for you. Like Ola's $82,000 story is not nothing, right, to you, because the process feels too excruciating, right? And you're like, you know what, it's not worth it, right? So the question is a little tricky. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. So this next question is kind of related. Is wholesaling real estate easy, right? So it's my opinion about anything that's worthwhile in life. Anything that's worthwhile in life. We're talking good relationship. We're talking about good business. We're talking about life. We're talking about wealth, health, good health, right? Having good health. Is it easy to eat healthy every day, right? Of course, that's not easy, right? So I don't think it's not a matter of if it's easy or not. It's not relevant. Okay, easy, hard, difficult. Those kind of words are not relevant to anything that's worthwhile. Okay, so the real question is it worthwhile, which was the previous question that we answered, right? Is it worthwhile for you? It's personal. Okay, it's personal. It's personal. I don't think easy is relevant when it comes to business. I think people that end up looking for easy all over the place, they eventually just stay broke. In fact, some of them can close one deal, maybe two by luck, and then eventually they can't last because again they're looking for something easy. And it's not just about business, even life, right? In life, everything is everything that's worthwhile to you has taken some kind of resources, investment of some kind of resources, time, money, and because you wanted it so bad, it feels like it's worth it at the end of it. But it's really a feeling, right? But when it comes down to money, if you're making good money and you're changing your life, you're making $300,000, $500,000 a year from a side hustle, easy will become irrelevant if it takes you an extra 10 hours per week to figure out how to do it. And once you figure it out, it costs you maybe 5 hours a week to manage the business, to run things and make sure everything is smooth. Would you call that easy or hard? It depends on what part of the game you fit in or you came in on, right? It depends on what part of the game you're in right now, right? So in the beginning, it can seem hard, right? If I tell you like, hey, learn Facebook marketing, and I tell you in Facebook marketing, you need to know what a campaign, ad set, and ads are, right? Or learn how to write a simple ad that will basically say, hey, I will buy your house. Like we can close in 10, 15 days. Just we'll give you an offer in the next 24 hours. Put something like that on Facebook where people can see it and people can potentially sign a contract with you. Does that sound easy? It sounds easy. When you start putting it together, you may click this thing and the click did the wrong thing or give you the wrong reaction or something like that. You're like, look, this is too difficult, and you run away from it, right? So it depends on what part of the game. But once you figure it out, right, you say, hey, this thing, I got to figure it out. Okay, I got lost. I'm confused somewhere, but I learned how to ask questions as opposed to asking to cancel or to refund, right? It depends on what part of the game you're in. It depends on your mindset, basically, right? So if you come into the game and you're looking for easy, that's obviously that's not a mindset that will serve you in the long term, right? But if you come in the game and say, you know what, this may not be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Okay. Is it hard? No, it's too far from hard. There's no way what I do is hard. Okay. It's not hard. Okay. I literally, like this live sessions right here, I was doing it daily every day. And like, then I reduced it to 3 days. And then eventually I said, okay, I can only do once a week. Right. Starting next week, I may even say, I want to up it up a little bit. I want to do 5 days a week because I want to help more people, right? I want to answer more questions. I want to do some more training and stuff like that. That's completely up to me. There's no way what I do can be assigned to easy or hard. It's just completely up to you. Depends on who you are and where you're coming from. Depends on your mindset. Okay. From where I am standing right now, I'll tell you it's the easiest thing to do in the world. But would that be fair to you? Maybe that's not fair to you. Maybe you're just getting started. Okay. But one thing about entrepreneurship in general or anything is that once you do it once, the second time becomes easier. Okay. Unlike most people's jobs, okay, the third time becomes that much even easier, right? And then by the time you're doing the seventh time, it's second nature. You don't have to even wake up to do it. Now, if you're really doing it the way I teach you, you learn how to have residual income. You learn how to structure residual income, residual input into your business, where your business is kind of automated, right? And even while you're hanging out with people online, is structures to stick. This video is going to be live on here for life. Okay. For as long as YouTube gives me a free channel, it's going to be hanging out. That's called leverage, right? If you set up your game, your business with leverage, then easy is really, really relevant, because I do this work one time and I get paid, literally get paid. I get paid, but it's probably more accurate to say I get results from this over and over and over again for the rest of not just my life, beyond my life. There's no way you can possibly be asking easy if you understand that concept of, hey, I get to invest one time, but I get to rip off of this over and over and over again in forms of kind, resources, more resources, relationships, money, getting paid, right? Like easy is not relevant. I'm sorry. It's the same way I look at relationships too. Some of you know that I teach relationship on the side, right? It's the same way I look at it. If you invest, it's absolutely worth it, and easy or hard is not worth it. Once you understand the reward of it, right? It's not worth it. It's not worth it for you to be pounding yourself and to try to figure out if it's easy or not. It's absolutely easy. It's easy. But maybe you don't understand me right now because you're at the very beginning. I'm just trying to encourage you that once you get through the first hurdle of getting through, a little bit of self-discipline until it becomes second nature, then it's absolutely easy. Okay. How do real estate wholesalers get paid? Okay, so real estate wholesalers get paid when this is actually a very interesting one. When you see that number 5, deals, when deals close, that's when they get paid traditionally. Okay. Traditionally, that's when real estate wholesalers get paid. When somebody actually brings some money to the table, as a buyer actually pay for the deal, and then on that same transaction, they pay you your fee for finding the deals. Okay. That's how you get paid. But with the evolution of everything, technology, learning how the game works, learning marketing, learning how equity works in real life. See, some people wait until there's equity in an actual property. But the truth is that the way I teach you, you have equity in your brand, just your ability to be in this marketplace and learn some skill sets. You already have equity by default, right? Because you learn how to build digital assets, not just the physical assets on the streets, right? So when you do that, you are starting to get paid somehow, some way, okay? So, but traditionally, like I was saying, if the deals doesn't close at the very end, you don't get paid. But this time and age, there are other things that happen in between the first step, which is data and deals. There are so many things that happens that you can also flip. You can flip information. Okay. When you learn how to flip information, there are all kind of fancy words for it out there. Some people call it word of market. Some people call it evangelist. You get paid being an evangelist, right? You get paid for spreading the word. You get paid for being a marketer, right? And there are so many things you can flip, and you can flip them in a strategic way that you get paid even if you don't ever close a deal. That's something I learned 10 years ago. Once I learned that, I will basically never go broke ever again in my life. Okay. All right. So as far as like I'm just completely paralyzed and I can't get paid or feed my family, that would never happen ever again because of this one skill set. Okay. So some people call it attraction marketing, some people call it all kind of stuff, but we have a structured way that we train that inside the system. So the traditional way that wholesalers get paid is you get paid when the deal closes. But this time and age, you don't have to wait for that long. Okay, you don't have to wait for that long. And no, you don't have to create your own course. You don't have to create your own course because honestly, it's not exactly authentic, okay, to be creating courses on something you haven't created results from. Okay, but there's nothing stopping you from sharing the word about something that, like some kind of information you consume that you really enjoyed. You share that word, you get paid 50% commissions. You share information, you get paid for sharing information, right? Is that new? That's not new. That's always been there since the beginning of mankind. It's just a lot more easier with digital marketing. Okay, same skill set. So if I teach you how to use Facebook marketing, right, to generate leads, right, and you're paying, let's say you're paying $20 per lead, right? And that lead can potentially turn to $10,000, right? But again, the keyword is potentially, maybe not. Maybe you have to spend the next $20 a few times, maybe 500 times before you actually close one deal, right? In that meantime, you can use that same skill set and you can use that to share some information. And because people are moving money is moving a lot faster when people buy digital information, right? Either they're buying a software or they're buying digital information of some sort, right? That money is moving faster, but it's still the same funnel, the same process, right? And you're getting paid all through that process. And you understand also the power of online digital follow-ups and stuff like that, right? And you also understand the power of offering people offers, right? And they can potentially click and buy something. You make $500 like that. You build a whole system out of that. You can get paid in a lot more ways than just wholesaling. Okay. So you can also use the same concept to say, you know what? Other people say, I need a license. I don't need a license. You've been doing the business for a while. You decide to get a license. You get licensed, right? You get licensed, but you're not getting licensed so you can be driving around town in the middle of the hot summer or cold winter to be showing people houses. You're doing that just because, hey, you know what? I'll get paid referrals. I just have a realtor partner who's going to do all the work. I get paid on the side because you are a marketer. You learn how to find the deals. Okay, same concept, except that you bring it down now to using technology, and you can your resources, your time, your energy can go a lot further. Can basically bring in more money just because you learn the skill set of marketing in a digital age. So you see that theme a lot more here. I'll be talking more and more about Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, because honestly, that's the direction that the world is moving. What else? What else do you want me to teach you? How to drive around town for 20 hours and not do a deal? That's terrible. That's a terrible way of doing business in this time and age. So no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you that. So, like I said, traditionally you get paid when a deal closes, but this time and age, you could get paid as soon as you start generating leads. So if you look at this diagram right here, see step number 3, there's no reason why you're not getting paid at that process already. There's zero reasons. Okay, so the only reason is maybe you don't have the right training, you're not plugged into the right programs. Okay, all right, so let's go on to the next one here. Do you need a LLC to wholesale real estate? Okay, so no, of course not. Okay, of course not. Of course you don't need a LLC to wholesale real estate. You don't need LLC to buy candy or to sell candy. You don't need LLC to trade. Okay, it's just advisable at some point once you start doing deals that you have the proper corporate structure based on your state and your particular peculiar situation to make sure you have those things in place so that you're protected and from unnecessary liabilities. That's all it's for. So LLC has never been a requirement to wholesale deals. Okay, it has been only useful for you to protect yourself from liabilities when it comes down to just running the business. Not necessarily nothing particular about wholesale. Just running the business in general. If you have an LLC, limited liability company, that's what it means. It limits your liability. Okay, but if you haven't learned how to do one deal, you haven't learned how to generate leads, much less doing a deal, right? And you haven't done that consistently long enough, there's no reason for you to be stuck on that. A lot of people get stuck on that. Now, if you file your LLC and you created your logo and your website and you do all those things before you start doing deals, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just letting you know it doesn't guarantee you're going to get paid. That's just basic. Everything you just did is just Maybe, hopefully for the future, you find them useful. But most LLCs that are created, did you know that are useless? 99.99% will never be used to make money. That's because LLCs does not make money by themselves. You use LLC to protect an existing business. Okay. So first thing you want to learn marketing, learn sales, right? Learn how to close some deals, right? Learn this process, right? Learn this process and learn how to automate this process. And then once you close your first deal, and then you can now start looking around, and you can literally go online and file an LLC. It only costs $100 or so. So if you close your first deal and then you file an LLC, it's not too late, okay? But anybody that's selling you LLCs out there, maybe they're selling you a package or something like that. Of course, they'll tell you, and they'll sell you on the idea that you should get those things in place. It's not necessarily true, okay? And that's coming from somebody who filed, I don't know how many LLCs I filed before I actually started making money. But I'll tell you right now, because we're ambitious, right? People like me were ambitious from the very beginning. So the first thing that comes to mind is, you know what? Let me go form my company. And even the first company that I formed, I did it all wrong anyway. So I think you should learn how the process works, learn how to market, learn how to generate leads, learn how to close deals, and then somewhere in between that, you can find the time to file a LLC. And all those corporate structures, you will still find that once you start making certain amount of money, you still have to talk to a better expert and clean those things up anyway, right? You still have to, all right? That's just the way it works. So no, it's not a requirement to wholesale real estate. It has never been, it will never be. You don't have to worry about that if you're not really up for it right now. I'd rather spend my time learning how to market, learning the process, and then executing my first call, setting up my first ad, generating my first lead, talking to the first lead, and saying if I'm enjoying the process of talking to a homeowner who can potentially sell to me, right? That's what you should be talking about right now. Okay. All right. So let's go on to last but not least today. How do you structure a wholesale real estate, I guess, deal? How do you structure it, right? So you approached a homeowner, or better yet, it's actually better when they approach you because the conversation is different. Okay. That's why I only teach attraction marketing. Okay. In all of this, anything that involves you proactively reaching out to homeowners that haven't said they want to sell, right? Or haven't shown that they want to sell at any point, anything like that, I shy away from it because it's not worth my time, based on the fact that I know better things to do with my time, right? Like attracting them, like setting up ads, like setting up Facebook, Instagram ads that actually attract them to me, right? So now once you set all that up, once you get through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, right? Once you get through stage 4, you have a contract in place and you have to dispose the contract, right? You have to sell the right to the contract, right? So you can close the deal, right? Once you get through all of that, then the question comes up: how do you structure that deal? How do you get paid, right? So there's something called a hard won statement. A hard won statement. There's another type of statement that they use out there, but I'm more familiar with the hard won. Hard won basically shows where all the money is going, right? So we're talking about even as everything down to shipping fee. We're talking about everything down to document fees, title company fees, right? Origination fees if there's a loan involved, right? All those kind of stuff, like the money that goes to appraisers and stuff like that, like earnest money deposit, did all that money, basically the balance sheet of a real estate transaction, you'll see it on what they call a hard won statement, HUD-1 statement. Okay. And on the hard one, ideally, your money will kind of show on there as well, right? But the thing is that a wholesaler, right? You're not really considered by a lot of professional in real estate. You're not really considered official, right? So some title companies will say, no, but we can. What is that? Real estate wholesaling fee for what? For finding the deal finder's fee. There are still many people that are stuck in 1960 that will still say that, and they are title companies, by the way. So the structure, how you structure that deal becomes a question, all right? There are a couple of ways that these deals are structured. First one is called assignment fee, right? So if the deal, if how much you're making is less than, the last time I checked, if it's less than $15,000, which is a good payday, of course, right? Like a hard money lender is okay for you showing the fee on that. But if it's anything more than, once you start going past $12,000, they'll start looking at it like, okay, why are you making $12,000 for doing what? Are you an agent? You're not an agent. Why are you making $12,000? Well, sorry, we can't. You can't make more than $10,000, and they can limit your money like that, right? So, but some of them will actually say, no, we're not paying a wholesaler. This is not a deal. Just shut it down, right? That can actually happen, right? But but the way, so that's one way. Assignment by just assigning the deal, you assign the contract to an end buyer and that person pays you. So that's, you can get away with that by showing your money as assignment fee if it's less than $15,000. Okay, they like it to be below $10,000. But if you're going to make average of $25,000 per deal, like I do, right, then you need what they call a double escrow or double closing. Basically, what that means is two transactions. So you buy it first, and then the second person buys it from you on the same day, right? Back in the days, when I say back in the days, I'm talking about before the market crash in 2008. You could use the money at the very end to fund the whole deal. After all, everyone is getting paid from the same deal, right? But this time and age, a lot of people are frowning at that. You can't use the same money to fund two deals, right? So then they have something called transactional funding these days, right? Transactional fundings are everywhere. Just Google transactional funding and it comes right up. If you have a deal and the end buyer is already ready to go, and you have a seller who is willing, you have a contract, that the transactional funding people will bring the money for the first transaction, right? They bring cash. They charge anywhere from 1 point, which means 1% to 3%. What that means is that for every $100,000 they bring to the table, they expect that they will charge you a fee of $1,000 or $3,000 that will come out of your profit, basically. So if you're making good $25,000, $30,000, it costs you nothing to pay a transactional funding. It costs you nothing to pay them $1,000, $3,000. It costs you nothing. It's a good payday, but it keeps everything legal. Okay, so that's double escrow, double closing. The third one is not very popular, which is basically LLC transfer. So you use a LLC to purchase the first part of the contract, and you simply, to purchase the property, the LLC purchases the contract. You own the LLC, but you sell the LLC to the end buyer. So, and you charge a fee for selling the LLC. So LLC is a company, it's a corporate structure for a company. The company owns the property, right? You own the property, and you just sell the LLC, and all the properties that comes with that LLC will go to the end buyer. So that's the third way that I know. Now, there are many other structures out there. I'm just letting you know that the most basic one is assignment fee, where you can make $15,000 or less. It's still a nice payday. This is something that you don't ever want to worry about until you actually have a deal on the table. Lock in the contract. You may say, but I don't want to write the contract in the wrong way. I'll tell you right now, after all those years, I don't think there's a contract that I didn't have to put an addendum on. Addendum, right? So meaning I have to actually correct the contract. Something is wrong, something is off. We like the name to be this way. We like the address to be a little bit different. There's always something with the contract, okay? And it can always be fixed on or before closing. Okay, so don't get stuck on a contract. Could it be written wrong? I used the wrong contract. Really, the only prerequisite for this is a motivated seller. If you have a seller who is willing and able to sell your property, that's the only prerequisite. Everything can be wrong. You can do everything else wrong. You can't do that part wrong. You can spend your time with a non-motivated seller, okay? Because basically, if you spend your time with a non-motivated seller, what's going to happen is that if you beg them to do the next step, you have to beg them to do the next step, and then you have to beg them to do the next step. You're just going to frustrate yourself, okay? Then you end up frustrating yourself. So don't put yourself in that position. Just keep it simple. You're looking for motivated sellers. You're marketing for motivated sellers, and you want to do that profitably. You want to do that cost effectively. You want to do that in a way that you don't lose your shirt, right? and that's something we teach here. So we teach you how to do this more effectively. A lot of people are losing their shirt trying to market traditionally doing wholesale. It's a very expensive thing to do these days because there's so many people coming into the game. So you have to hack the game. You have to learn how to hack the game with with attraction marketing. Okay, building a brand, building a list building, list monetization. Okay, you have to learn how to do those things. Okay, if that's something that you're interested in, come on inside. Make sure you're a premium member. myEmpirePRO.com is where you want to be at. Make sure you're a premium member, and then you have access to Facebook marketing. You have access to flipping houses nationwide, and then you'll be able to build this business in a more efficient manner without losing your shirt. That's actually very important. A lot of people are wasting money, resources, doing it the wrong way. All right. So somebody says, here's another question. That's Simon. As a wholesaler, how do you provide proof of funds? If I have to give proof of funds, I'm going to give you an unconventional and a non-conventional, unpopular idea here, answer here. Okay. If anybody asked me for, let me tell you what I would do. If somebody asked me for proof of funds, okay, as a wholesaler, which, like I said, you're not a wholesaler, you're an investor, okay? But let's just assume I know what you're talking about, which I do, right? If somebody asks me for proof of funds, they're not motivated, okay? They're not motivated, or let me be fair, maybe they're too sophisticated for what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to serve. I need to serve the people that I have the highest chance, the biggest chance that I can serve. If you're too sophisticated, it means you know too much, which all of us are at that level sometimes, depending on what we're talking about, right? If you know too much, there's a good chance you're not going to be my prospect because I need to be controlling the situation, right? So if you know that you need proof of funds, there's nothing wrong with that. I may just not be the person that can help you out of your situation. If you know enough that you know you need proof of funds, you probably don't even need me. You probably just need to go find a realtor, list the property. That means you have time to list the property and get the most amount of dollars that you can get for that property, right? But if you don't have time as a distressed seller, then you're asking me for proof of funds, you're about to lose out because I'm not going to waste time on you. Now, there may be other wholesalers that will go pull a fake proof of funds and give it to them. Bottom line is that that's all still going to crumble because, again, that person is just not motivated. Not only are they going to ask for proof of funds, they're going to ask you for earnest money deposit, and they're going to ask you to put $1,000 down, and that's not the game of wholesaling. You're missing the point if you're doing it like that. You're looking for distressed homeowner sellers. Somebody who said, this property is a headache, get rid of it. What do you need me to sign? Okay, I'll sign right there. And just let me know how things are going. And then you have to call them a week later and say, hey, things are going well. They're that motivated. They don't care about the property. And yes, you're going to have a lot less contract that you'll be signing, but there'll be quality contract that will actually close. Or you can not take my advice, do it the other way around, sign a lot more contract, show proof of funds, put earnest money deposit now, meaning you're burning your bank account, right? And still not close the deals, right? So I don't know which one is better. So my answer for you is basically, if somebody's asking for proof of funds, they fell through the crack, the wrong prospect, okay? You're looking for motivated seller. Focus on that. Focus on people that don't ask for crazy details, which is why, again, you need a pipeline. You need a pipeline of people coming through the game, and then so you can make choices. You need to be the one to have the options. If they have options, meaning other people that can get them proof of funds, they need to go exercise that. And you need to keep it moving into your pipeline to find the next person you can help. This is wholesaling. This is not you buying a home that you want to live in. So no, I don't do proof of funds. I don't do earnest money deposit. I just don't. Okay. I focus on motivated sellers. Yes, I do sign a paperwork with them, but the paperwork that I sign with them, I don't hold, it doesn't hold much weight. If they call me tomorrow and say, you know what, I want to back out, I'm not going to sue them, right? I don't have time for that. I'm a marketer. I'm an investor. I'm moving fast as humanly possible, right? So focus on motivated seller. Yes, still sign something. And when you find a buyer, you can put earnest money deposit down to make things more solid. Again, don't worry about all those details. Just focus on motivated sellers, okay? Charlie If a seller isn't willing to sell at a discount, would you use creative financing? Yes, of course, of course. Financing. If so, which one do you recommend? Seller financing, lease option, subject to wrap. Okay. So here's the deal. That's a fantastic question, actually. Creative financing often is another thing that people are throwing around. That just won't work if the house is not cash flowing. Okay, you're gonna waste a lot of time if a house is not cash flowing already, right? Creative finance is not gonna work. Somebody has to pay. Something has to give. Just keep that in mind. That something has to give at the end of the day. Okay, something has to give at the end of the day. What is it that is given? Okay, they're not willing to sell at a discount, but the property could be rented out at $2,500 and they owe $200,000. If you do the math, we can cash flow $700 per month on this, and walk away with $20,000 from a person looking to rent to own. There's a way you structure that. So what I would do is, it depends on the case by case situation. Okay, if you have somebody who is an expert in that particular market, right, who understands seller financing, lease option, and stuff like that, I would just say, let me check with my partner, and we'll run the numbers through them, and then I will make my choices based on that. Okay, seller financing simply means that the seller has so much equity in it, and they want to finance the deal. Okay, you still have to do your math and make sure that the number fits your criteria as an investor, which means 70%, 65%, right? ARV and stuff like that. Now, if it's a house what do you call it? A house that can be rented out to other people, right? Like 2 family, 3 family, and stuff like that. Your numbers could be better, right? You could do the 1% rule, right? But again, whatever your numbers are, you still have to do that number. It still has to work out, right? Lease option means you're getting an option. No, I would never do that. I don't use lease option unless I'm the one lease optioning to other people, right? So which is rent to own, basically, right? You're renting with the option to buy later, right? Your lease rent, right? With the option to buy later, right? So I would only do that. Again, I will sit down, work out the numbers, make sure the numbers work out, right? If they're not motivated, there's a good chance that if they're not motivated to sell at a discount, there are going to be obstacles again later on if I have to do creative financing. Now, if it's a rental market, the rules can change. That's why I say it depends on the market. It's a case by case situation. Okay, so subject to existing mortgage, right? Subject to existing mortgage. If I keep paying for that mortgage, is the deal still worth it for me? That's it. Okay, if it's worth it, then you work it out, right? So, but as a wholesaler, you want to make sure that you have the person that's going to be doing the end buyer. You have a close relationship with them, and that they're working that numbers out together with you. Okay, if you don't have that kind of relationship in place, I would just focus on finding 65% of ARV, 70% rule. I would just focus on doing that all day long and keep this process. Listen, for every one method you focus on, there's probably 50 other ways you can make money. And there are other people that will tell you you're leaving money on the table. Tell them that's okay. This is what I do, though. You focus on what you do and you make money from that. And then if you want to expand out into other things, you do that strategically, not just because somebody else says it's the hardest thing in the market. At the end of the day, something has to give. Somebody has to give up something. What is that person giving up? All right. If they're not willing to give up their house because they think they have something valuable, there's a good chance you're going to run into obstacles regardless of any one of those strategies. Okay. So once it's off of wholesaling, to answer your question more specifically, once I'm not doing the flagship strategy, exit strategy, which is wholesaling, then I have to sit down and work out the numbers for the other things. And then you have to be patient long enough, and it has to be solving an actual problem too. If I'm not solving an actual problem, it's a waste of time for everyone. And I just try to avoid it. It's never worth it for me. Okay. And when I say it's never worth it for me, sometimes that means somebody else comes to the table and make it work. I don't mind. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I never find out because I'm moving too fast to find out if I lost a deal somewhere. Okay. And creative financing would allow us to close on deals we would otherwise lose. You sound like a sales letter. Okay. Sound like you've been going through something. You've been listening to gurus, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Something has to give. Okay. There should be a reason why you're dealing with this person. There's a reason why you're here, for example, and you're listening to this because I'm hopefully bringing some kind of value. It may not even be educational value. It may just be entertainment value purely. Okay. It may be sentimental value purely. You're getting some kind of value for hanging out with me here, period. Okay. So when I say value, I mean you're solving a problem. What strategy you use when you're dealing with this distressed homeowner sellers, whatever it is, has to be solving a problem. If it's not solving a problem in a way that they've identified that you're helping me solve a problem, it's a waste of time. Okay. Sometimes it looks like you're solving a problem on the forefront. Let's say all they want is cash. They want cash, but they don't want to deal with realtors, right? They want big cash, right? They don't want to deal with realtors. How could you possibly solve that problem, right? That's the question. If you can create a way to solve that problem, you have business, you have money to be made, right? But if we're just going to deceive ourselves and say, you know what, I know another way, we're going to do creative financing, right? And at the end of it, you're like, you got to the end buyer and they work out the numbers and they say, okay, but the rental is $1,500, but I got expenses of $4,000. How am I going to do this? Oh, just because. No, something has to give, and not later. This is not 401k. Now something has to give so we can do this business. So a lot of time is that thing is you're solving a problem in exchange. So you know what? We'll help you get rid of this property. All right. We may not be able to do the 65% thing, but I found a way. It's called lease option. Okay. You will give me an option to purchase 3 years from now, but we can do the deal. But now, right now, the bills must be paid. Okay. So I agree with you. Creative finance, I always offer. I said, listen, this is my offer. But if this offer doesn't work for you, let me know. I'll see if there are other creative ways we can make the deal happen, as long as you still want to get rid of the house. Most times, you know what happens? They don't even want to talk because they think they have something better somewhere. Okay. What happens? We follow up later. Okay. Put a system in place to follow up with them later, and they may be more open. But the key thing, the key ingredient in all of this is not even wholesaling. It's not the 65% rule. The key ingredient is that the homeowner must be motivated to need to get rid of a property. The only reason why they may not be able to sell at a discount is because they owe too much money at the bank. And as long as the bank agrees to it, they don't care. They just want to get rid of the property. Those are the people I prefer to talk to. And from all these years of doing this, those are the people that actually end up closing the deal. And not only that, they appreciate that you're actually in their life. If I have to beg you to sign over your house, there's a good chance you should be talking to a realtor. And that's why we have realtors in the game. They are useful in the game for people like that. And I don't want to compete with them. I have my own lane. Distressed homeowners, you need to pawn your house. This house is a headache for you. That's where I come in. Oh yeah, you owe too much. Oh yeah, I'm not in a place where I can sell at the discount. Oh, I don't want to mess up my credit. Okay, let's see what else is available. They're still motivated, but they have a real reason why they don't want to sell at the discount. Not just because. Like if somebody comes to me, no, I can't sell at the discount just because. I'm wasting my time. Not only my time, wasting their time, because I'm not going to be able to serve them. I can't serve them, right? So the key thing is being able to serve them, being able to give them some kind of value that they actually value. I don't get to decide what value is. They decide what value is. I'm actually solving a problem, right? And that's what I focus on when it comes into this game, right? So hopefully that was enlightening and educational. Again, like I said earlier, make sure you go to Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. You can download these 2 books for now. They're going away. We're just getting to it. They're going away. You won't be able to download it for free much longer. Okay, but they will still be available to be shipped out to people. You just have to pay for the shipping cost. But for now, if you want to have access to them, you see all of this concept that I cover. Value is the first core pillar. Go figure, right? And how that fits into different part of the game. All right. So hopefully you'll be enlightened and educated. I'll see you on the next one, and peace.